Hello, everybody. Welcome to Arsenal X NGR Radio's Xbox podcast. As always, we throw up the X. Yes, because we're about to throw down. This is an audio episode. Joining me on this, of course, it's the wise Wisconsin, the wise Wisconsinite, Mr. Jesse Douglas.
How's it going, Ed?
It's doing so good. Yes, Boss Man apparently wasn't able to make this episode. He has to get things ready for the workday, and he's on baby alert. So anytime it can happen. So yes. But it's just gonna be me and Jesse on this episode. Like I said, another audio episode. Hopefully you guys do enjoy this one. Got some great stories to cover and got a good discussion topic that I kind of want to pick Jesse's brain about this one. But before we get into that, hey Jesse, what's been in your arsenal, dude?
Well, I've been playing, I won't go into too much detail, but I've been playing some classic games, some NES games, some Sega games. I played some Renegade, and I played some Master System games, like one of the light gun games. One of my favorite is always Rescue Mission, and I finally got a different CRT TV that could handle the Sega gun, because for whatever reason the Nintendo gun works fine on most TVs, mm-hmm. but the Sega one, I don't know if it's just it's finicky in some ways. I don't know, but it just not all TVs work. It doesn't work on all TVs, but so I got a TV that it works on now, and I can play that instead of having to play it on a little tiny. Like that little tiny Hello Kitty TV, because that's the only TV that game would work on was this little tiny Hello Kitty TV. That's my wife's.
Yeah.
That she had gotten like a long time ago, and so I'm like, yeah, I can't play on this because it's so small. Like, first off, like, I don't even care, honestly, that it's a Hello Kitty TV. I mean, if it works, it works.
Exactly.
But it's just so small that it like, a gun game like that just doesn't work well on a little tiny screen. So yeah, I did that. We played some Gears 4, or at least we tried to, because it was a lot of just sitting, waiting for games to start. I picked up Resident Evil.
Jesse, you probably got us speaking the mic more, cause.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's not coming. Okay.
Yeah, it sounds like when you're away from the mic, it sounds a little bit off.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we I got Resident Evil 7. I picked that up, and so I'm gonna play that eventually. It was $15, so
nice.
I had to pick it up. So. And then, we played Division, which, we've kind of been playing that a little bit every chance we get. I'm just loving that game. I've been playing, actually, for the show, we're playing it, but I also have been playing on my original character whenever I get a chance.
Same here.
That game is just so great. It seriously is like one of the best third-person games, I think, that I've ever played. Like that, and like Tomb Raider, and like Gears of War. Those are all like top tier, like third person games that you can play. And then I've been playing a little bit of Fortnite on the Switch, just because it's been kind of easy to bring that wherever if I'm making dinner or something, mm-hmm. then I can just throw it on there and put it wherever and play that a little bit. What else have I been playing? I haven't got a chance to try Mario Tennis yet, but I'm looking forward to playing that. And then while we were recording Pow Block, I was downloading the new Octopath Traveler demo, because I completely forgot about that.
Yeah.
So I forgot to download that.
I had the demo on my Switch, but then I didn't start it till like a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
So I was just I need to start playing this.
Yeah. So I think that's pretty much it. Oh, we did play some PUBG too the other day when we were recording some stuff for our Royale with Cheese. So we got in the new map on that. So we were super excited. Corey was in the middle of doing something while it's, he was starting the recording, and we were waiting for the match to start. And I forget what he was doing. I think he mentions it on the video when you watch it later, when it comes out. But he was doing something, and I'm like, oh, we're in the new map. And he's like, what? He's like, look. He's like, oh, we're in the... So yeah, he wasn't paying attention, and then we realized that we were in the new map, and it was actually pretty fun. I really enjoyed it. Like it's a desert map, it's the desert one or whatever. It's like the only bummer about it is because it's new to Xbox, it's still like when you play in that map, it plays like the game used to play before it got fixed. So it's almost like when you're playing in that map, it's a completely different build of the game that you're playing, because that map, like, it takes forever to load in, and it was like certain areas that, like, whatever area you were in would load up, but if you took, like, let's say we took the vehicle like somewhere else and you moved at a fast pace, you could actually go onto other areas of the map that weren't loaded in yet, even though we had been playing for like 10 minutes already in the game, in the match. So like that was the only bummer, because like we're getting used to the game actually playing like a real game now.
Yeah.
But then when that happens in the new map, it was kind of a bummer. But it's not anything that we're not used to at this point, since we played it. We've been playing it since it's, before it got fixed. So, we made do with it. It didn't really, ruin our experience, per se. But it was just kind of a bummer, just because, it's the new map and we're finally getting to play it, and it's a little buggy yet. But, once it gets fixed, it's going to be a fun map to play in. I really did enjoy what we played in it. So yeah, that's basically that's it that I've been playing so far.
Oh, awesome. Well, I'm going to start with Switch, and you guys probably will hear the same thing on Power Block, but just run quickly. Breath of the Wild, Octopath Traveler demo, Captain Toad Treasure Tractor demo. Played a little bit of that for PS4. Doing Mad Max for my backlog bash, my backlog bash blowout for Optional Opinion, starting out with Mad Max. So, my goal, during the time of this recording is to get it done by Saturday. So I got a couple of days to get this game finished. Like, I'm gotta really put a lot of time in, and which I'll have a lot of time before I go to work, and on my off days, I'll have time to work on it and get the game done. Play Infamous First Light and Batman Arkham Knight on PS4. Also, I played Nex Machina on PS4. Like, I ended up beating it again. And just going through trying to get higher points and get some trophies and stuff. But for Xbox One, like Jesse mentioned, been playing the Division with the guys, but also playing the Division by myself. I beat it all before, but I started a new character, and this one I'm going to be trying to see if I can find mostly everything, because I think there's some stuff that I just left out. But I'm going to be trying to tackle all the side missions and cleaning up areas and getting like the phone calls and just doing all of this other stuff on it. Played Darksiders on it on Xbox One. I played the 360 version of it for something that's coming up in the near future. I truly enjoyed that game. It just brought me back, just like, man, I remember buying this game on my PS3 and realizing on how good it was. It was one of my first like $20 games when I first got my PS3. Dude, I never told you that when I first got my PS3, I went from 4 games to like 16 games within 4 days.
Nice.
I got a big like Christmas check, I should say, from work, and I was just like, well, I don't have to really pay bills, so yay, I have money. So, but yeah, that's what I've been playing on Xbox. And I'm going to be starting up Far Cry 5 soon, and I do have a Backlog Bash game for Xbox, but I won't be starting that until actually next Sunday. So that'll be like July 1st. July 1st I'll be starting that game. So I can't really wait to start playing it. So, but that's pretty much that's been in my arsenal. So we're going to get into some Arsenal news, and I forgot to mention to you, Jesse, I did add one more story.
Okay.
This one is not too much, for it, but you probably, when you hear it, you'll be like, oh yeah, that's kind of cool that they did that. So, it seems that the Fallout 76 beta is coming to Xbox One. The FAQ over on the official website was recently updated to include a string of text reading. Please note that the beta for Xbox One will begin first, followed by other platforms. If you're keen to try out the game as early as possible, it looks like you'll need to pre-order the game on Microsoft's platform. There still isn't a mention of when exactly the beta will be starting, but some people have reportedly already received codes. As a reminder, you don't need to grab any particular version of the game to get beta access. You could go with the standard edition and save yourself the money and space that the collector's edition will set you back. Definitely for me, I kind of don't have no interest in this, but it's good that it's starting on Xbox One. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I personally, I think they maybe should have just did the beta, like as a release by itself. And like made it like an exclusive, like where you could download the beta if you're an Xbox, an Xbox owner, or play games on Xbox. Because like my problem is I know I'm like I'm in the minority with this, but like I'm not going to get this until I really know exactly what it is. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's kind of a missed opportunity, that they could have just, released the beta to everyone, like open beta. And then, at the same time, they'd be able to test their internet and stuff like that, all that stuff that they usually end up having to do before a game comes out anyways. And they could, tackle that kind of stuff, like any kind of internet connections and all that issues early, and just let people like get to play and find out what exactly this game is. Right. It's kind of a bummer, because I'd play it and I might buy it if I can try the beta without having to, to pre-order it,
Right. I mean, it's like, already online. I mean, that's most of the game being online. So why not test the servers with having more people giving a try to play this game? Because, you don't want, to me personally, you don't want to see a thief's mistake happening, that, you had certain people play it and it's okay, but then when you actually release the game and more people jump on it, you got all of these problems. And I think, for Bethesda, they should try their best to avoid that by just be like, but if you want to play the beta, people who pre-order it get a day early, everybody else would get it that Saturday and Sunday. Yeah,
because I mean, if you think about it, because Xbox is getting the beta first, like in a way that, it's already exclusive to only certain people. Mm-hmm. Like, cause like, I mean, if like a regular game, if you're getting the beta for pre-ordering, usually that's across all platforms.
Yes.
And that makes it the exclusive where, it's only to those people. But right now, if it's only coming to Xbox first, well, then they should just release it to everyone who wants to download it for Xbox only,
Right.
So it's still, contained amount of people. But like I said, that also gives them the opportunity to check internet connections and how much load they have their servers set for and things like that need to be tweaked anyways before the game releases. So
I just can't put myself in a pre-reserving the game just to play a beta.
Yeah.
And then later on, it like the game gets an actual demo for everybody else, and it's the same thing. No, I can't do that, especially with what they showed at E3 for Bethesda. Nah, I'm good.
Yeah, and the thing is too is like it's such an outdated thing, to kind of like, because honestly, all you need to do is go to GameStop, pre-order it, get the code, and then cancel your pre-order, and then you still can play the demo anyways, the beta anyways, so it doesn't matter. But it's just like we're getting to the point now where I just really wish that more demos and more betas and stuff would come out for games to really help get people hyped, about stuff.
Yeah.
And I just feel like this kind of game, there's a lot of people that are gonna buy this game regardless. Like those aren't the like right now, those are the only people that they're targeting, right? Basically.
Yep.
You want to target the people that aren't sure whether they want to buy your game. So and the only way to do that is to make the beta open to everyone instead of the people who already know they're going to buy the game. It's just, it's pointless. It's pointless marketing in my opinion. Like it's not really reaching the people that don't know, what, if they want your game or not. So it's kind of pointless.
Yeah. So we're going to move on. State of Decay 2 leads NPD software in May. And everybody, the Fallout 76 story came from Destructoid. This story is coming from Game Informer. NPD released its May retail sales analysis, and everything looking good with Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo all having something to cheer about. Overall, hardware, software, accessories, and game card sales grew to $685 million, a 13% increase from a year ago. Software was down slightly, but the other areas made up for it. And year-to-date spending is up to 15%. Growth has occurred across all categories of spending, says NPD video game analyst Matt Piscatella. State of Decay 2, which has already almost doubled sales of the first title, is a big win for Microsoft, and the NPD notes that the Xbox One, along with the PS4, drove a 26% increase in hardware spending compared to a year ago. Sony, with God of War and Detroit Become Human, is May's top-selling software publisher, although Ubisoft holds that spot for the calendar year. The PS4 was the month's best-selling console and has carried the year so far. As for Nintendo, not only do its titles pepper the top 20, but its software sales in May 2018 are the highest for the month in 7 years. The PS4, Xbox One, and Switch all garnered record sale highs for a May month. And,
that's awesome.
This is the rank that it went. State of Decay 2 was number 1. God of War, Detroit Become Human, Far Cry 5, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, Grand Theft Auto 5, Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition, Rainbow Six Siege, this is number 8, Mario Kart 8 is number 9. NBA 2K18, MLB 18 The Show, Call of Duty WW2, Super Mario Odyssey, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild was number 14. FIFA 18, Overwatch Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection was number 17. PlayerUnknown's Battleground was 18. Assassin's Creed Origins is 19. And Monster Hunter World was number 20. Nintendo titles do not include digital sales. So, congratulations to Microsoft to State of Decay 2, a game that had a lot of problems and needed to be patched, and it came out number 1.
Yeah, I mean, I think what you see in there is the Game Pass, helped get the game in people's hands, and once you sat down and actually played the single player mode, and you realize what fun it is, and you start telling friends and stuff, and and not everyone has Game Pass, so that's gonna eventually it's gonna equate to sales.
Yeah, and it's only $40. So.
Yeah. I mean, it's an amazing game for the price, definitely. Yeah. Like it's I mean, it's definitely a thing where some people aren't gonna really care for it because it does kind of go against a lot of the ways that you would normally want to play that type of game. Mm-hmm. It kind of goes against those, and it forces you to play differently. And I think that's what turns some people off, is like there's just certain things about it where you're never have too much stuff. Like, it's always making you work for it, which I kind of like. I like that you don't ever get to a point where you just like overly have too much stuff and it just starts to get boring because you feel like, oh, I don't have anything to do now because I've already got a lot of this and I've got a lot of that. So like they make you keep grinding and keep playing the game the way that you've been playing it. You never really get a break, and I can see where people don't like that, but at the same time, it's like, well, you'll never get bored.
Right. I definitely need to return back to it and work on that game. Because I'm having so much fun. I really did enjoy that game. So I can't Dango Division taking my spot.
Yeah, I actually plan on getting back to State of Decay 2 as well. Yeah, because I still loved that first one. Like, I spent so much time in that first one.
I need to start the first one. I have it, but I have it installed. But I just haven't started playing it.
Yeah, and you definitely should go back and play that one and try it and kind of see how it's kind of progressed into what it is in this one now. But like ultimately, like no one's gonna blame you if you stop playing it and you just continue instead putting that time into the new one.
Yeah, because the first one had a lot of bugs.
2 is definitely a lot better. Yeah. At first it did, and the definitive edition, like the year one or whatever you call it, edition that was released for Xbox One, a lot of the issues were fixed. Like I know there's still some bugs here and there but it was so like very little. I've had very little issues with it since the re-release, but yeah, I mean 2 though is just so much better.
Yeah. So. Well, we're going to move on to the next story. This is kind of the bonus story. American Girl Xbox Gamer Doll set now exists. The American Girls Doll series, which takes dolls and put them in various professions, hobbies, and backstories, has announced a new accessory set for the dolls centered around the Xbox One and the various accessories an Xbox gamer might use. The Xbox Gamer set, which retails for $50, includes an Xbox One S that projects 10 gaming scenes using a built-in projector projector, an Xbox One controller that fits in tiny little dial hands, a gaming chair with speakers that can be plugged into an audio device to output the signal, a headset for the dial, and 2 discs with different projection scenes and game cases for the discs. The American Girl store page goes hard in making sure potential buyer know all these things are pretend and you're not getting a tiny usable Xbox One S. The projection thing is kind of cool though.
Yeah.
Before you go, I have had a lot of arguments with this item. Yeah. And I posted, I think it's very cool that Microsoft is doing this and I argued that if Nintendo was doing this, a lot of people would go crazy and end up buying it. But now that Microsoft is doing it, people are confused and it's like, well, what is this trying to market to? Like, who is trying to market to? I was like, this is marketing to little girls. I'm like, I think it's cool that Microsoft is even doing this because a lot of males are complaining about it because it's for girls. I was just like, whether you think it's too expensive or not, if any male buy this, maybe they like the American Girl dolls. Who knows? Maybe they're trying to buy it as a collector set. But if it was G.I. Joe, you wouldn't say nothing about it. You would have thought it was real cool. But because it's on a girl doll, you making it something that it doesn't need to be.
Well, this is your classical case of doing something for a certain group of people because it's a message that needs to be put out there, and it's not like, it's just not something like it's like there's a stigma to people, when you think of a gamer, like we tend to think, guys, like these, yes, either some overweight guy that lives in his basement, or, like there's some kind of like negative, like, things that we have. And a lot of the times it's always, we think, like people think of a guy as being a gamer, and that's not the case anymore. I mean, you see a lot of girls, or a lot of women, I should say, that are like into competitive gaming, like, and like it's just not for guys anymore. It's for both sides, and so you want to take something like that and you want to put it in, mix it in with something that's more for girls, to let them know that, hey, it's not weird if you like games when you grow up anymore. Like, this is something that girls or women can do. Like, women can, make a profession making games or playing games or, competing in games. Like, it's just guys already, like, there's never been question of, guys being gamers. We already know that. So it's like we don't need to do that for guys.
Well, it's funny that, with some people, with some guys that complain about this, I was just like, but y'all outside at 12 o'clock at night as adult gamers playing Pokemon Go on a cell phone. Mm-hmm. What does that say about you? Just because you're somewhat gaming, isn't Pokemon supposed to be for kids? Even though anyone could play it. But I'm like, here you are 26 or 34 years old at 12 o'clock at night in a park trying to collect some Pokemon. No knock to those players or anything, but if you're going to if you're going to be upset at Microsoft and American Girl for coming together to make this product, that same judgment can be applied to you if you're playing Pokemon on your cell phone. And you're going crazy because you collected a Pikachu or something,
it's like like we grew up, we were younger when Pokemon first came out, and so it makes sense for us as adults to still enjoy Pokemon because we grew up with it, and when we were kids, that was something we liked, and we tend to like, have nostalgia and things for that we grew up with. We still like I still like watching the Power Rangers. I actually was watching Power Rangers with my kids today. It was some of the newer ones, but I grew up watching Power Rangers. I still like it. Now it's still technically a kids show and it's for kids, but so it's like we want to introduce gaming to younger kids, younger girls now, yes, because they're going to see that girls growing up like gaming. So it's just kind of there. And then when they get older and they decide to play real, like actually play video games, if they're not already, to be honest, it's just that step in making sure to get rid of that negative, those negative things that are kind of linked to gaming, that are slowly disappearing. So
lose the double standards, guys. And let's celebrate that gaming and like things like this could come together and happen.
Yeah.
So
it's 2018.
Yes. So we're gonna hashtag feminism. We're gonna move on to the next story. Microsoft gave up on VR for Xbox One, and this story comes from Destructoid. With high-end virtual reality headsets coming to PC and PlayStation 4 over the past couple of years, the common perception was that Xbox was just waiting for the right opportunity to enter the market. Xbox leaders even suggested as much when describing the potential of the Xbox One X back when it was still Project Scorpio. And that partnership between Oculus and Microsoft was always a strong indication that the Rift might be a VR platform that could be adopted to run on Xbox. As it turns out, Microsoft has nixed any virtual reality plans for Xbox One. In an interview with GameIndustry.biz, Chief Marketing Officer of Gaming Mike Nichols said, "We don't have any plans specific to Xbox consoles in virtual reality or mixed reality," while adding that our focus is primarily on experiences you would play on your TV or PC monitor, presumably. This was probably a foreseeable outcome, as Xbox hasn't been publicly enthused about VR for a few years now. If there were something in the works, VR capability would have been one of the selling points of the Xbox One X, either E3 last year or this year. That's unfortunate for the people who were holding out for Xbox as the platform that introduces them to VR, but it seems like a shrewd and savvy move by Xbox. Within VR growing more slowly than expected, it's not the time to dive headfirst into headsets when Xbox has more pressing problems to focus on. So
yeah, and it's like they're speaking to me when they say the people that were holding out. But yeah, like it really does bum me out. But the problem is, like, PlayStation's doing a pretty good job of offering VR, and I feel like they're doing okay with it. But the problem that they're having is I was listening to something where they were kind of talking about VR. I forget what it was exactly, but the problem is like if you really want to have a good full VR experience, they say that they would like to have the frames per second at like 120.
Yeah.
And there's no way that consoles right now are going to be able to reach that, to have a good stable like frame rate that isn't going to make you sick, because I think that's what ends up making people get ill and get the motion sickness, is because of that lack of frame rate. And so it's so choppy that it causes you to kind of get like feel ill or because the movement isn't fluid enough to really handle it. And I played PSVR quite a bit because my friend Pat has it, and there are some games that I played I enjoyed, but there was a couple of games that I tried that really did make me feel sick. And I'm not normally a person who gets sick from gets motion sickness.
Mm-hmm.
But that definitely did it to me. And it's just, you're cutting out way too many people from being able to buy that stuff if you're going to put that money into it to try to push it on the console. Now, like I said, I'm glad that PS4 has it. I'm glad that that's kind of something unique to Sony that they can say that they have and they can offer with their console. Like, I'm completely 100% think that's awesome. And it really is a bummer that we won't get it with the Xbox One. But that being said, that's the key word. They said Xbox One. Yes. That they didn't really have any plans for that system. Now, like, does that mean that we may see something in the future when they can push a little bit better frame rates? I don't know, but I do know that, like, that was one of the things that Phil Spencer, I don't know, did you listen to the E3 interview with Giant Bomb with Phil Spencer? You should listen to that. It's really good. But yeah, he kind of talks about, like, that, that's what they're shooting for, is they really want to worry about giving us really good solid frame rates and really good solid graphics. That's what they want to focus on. And if they try to do VR, unfortunately, it's just going to set them back right now on that goal of trying to do that.
They probably don't have the chips or technology to push that just yet.
Yeah, because I mean, regardless, like, PC is where that's going to strive right now. There's just no competing with the abilities that the PC has to give you those experiences.
Yeah,
so.
But the thing about it is you have to pay a lot of money for that experience. And then even when you have that money all paid out, your technology could be extinct within 2 months because they're moving on to the extinct, or not extinct, but out of date. So your stuff kits probably still one for a couple of years, but then you're gonna have to spend maybe a whole bunch of $900 more to upgrade to get that experience, and you got to keep doing that over and over. Where console is like, you buy it, and if it works, it might not work as great as the PC or equal to, but it works good enough that what they said that they could deliver is right there.
Yeah, but I think the problem is like, VR is it's so early in its stages. Like, it's still in its newborn stage of the developing for it. And really, to be honest, like I said, though it's a good thing that PS4 has, and it's something that they can say they offer, you're still just basically, like, holding it back. Like, people, at some point, people are going to want to move forward as the technology gets better, and they're not going to want to be making games for an outdated technology. So I think that's the thing, is it's too early in its stages to be asking people to be locked in that early stages of creating on those things. Yeah. And then, like, one other thing though too, like, that you mentioned, I think though, like, the whole idea of, like, Microsoft kind of stepping in to start doing these new headsets and, like, working with this new technology is, I think, like, one of the part of the reasons that they were doing it, that is, I think they were trying to come up with something that was a little bit more affordable to try to make it a little bit more accessible,
which I thought was HoloLens.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the HoloLens was going to be more of the AR, but then they decided that they wanted to try to mix the two.
Well, they stated that HoloLens was kind of like their VR, because they did have, like, a prototype of actual hardware. So when they mentioned it, that's what I thought it was, and then everybody's just like, no, it's AR. So it was kind of a mixed message on what HoloLens was supposed to be.
Yeah, no, like, their whole idea was, to use the AR. Like they definitely want to focus on the AR because AR makes like Minecraft and stuff work better because with Minecraft, then with the AR, you're actually in your room and you're sitting at the table, and then you can see your whole build in Minecraft on your table, and you can zoom in and zoom out in your build.
Yeah.
But you still aware of your surroundings.
Which I still think that was one cool presentation at E3.
Yeah.
I thought that was really good.
Yeah, that was amazing. And it still is something that's available. It's just unfortunately you can only do it on PC. So
yeah. Well, we're gonna get into our last story. Ninja Theory celebrates Hellblade's 1 million sales. They posted this on Twitter that they have 1 million sales made, and Hellblade has won numerous awards and acclaim. As for a game, as a game for change and for its mature depiction of mental illness, something rarely seen in the industry. Ninja Theory made Hellblade as a budget game with AAA production and set the title at a lower price point, hoping to show that there was a space for a different tier of games. The bet definitely paid off for the team, and they have even recently been picked up by Microsoft to become an exclusive studio. Hopefully they will continue to make forward-thinking creative games while under the Xbox banner, while also not having to worry about funding and budgetary issues. The game is available for 40% off as part of the Steam Summer Sale, and you can also purchase it on PS4 and Xbox One. And so, congratulations to Ninja Theory. I own the game on Xbox One and PS4. I've been playing it a little bit, like piece here and here on Xbox One. Actually, everybody go check out Pod and Play Season 2 as me and Corey actually play the game and we discuss about mental illness and Ninja Theory in total. But yeah, congratulations to them. 1 million sales. And, they're a company that, DMC didn't really, bring them, notoriety, saying that wrong. The game that they did, not Entangle, the one for Bandai Namco,
I can't remember what it's called now.
That's it. Enslaved, and Heavenly Sword that they did, like those 3 action style games, they decided, they weren't getting the recognition and people weren't really buying their games, even though they're a great developer. So they made this game by themselves, funded it all, and it paid off. 1 million. And mind you, their game was at $40 when it came out. So they had some sales and other stuff like there, and then they reached like 50,000 copies for Xbox One, and they donated like I think $10,000 of their sales or something to mental health charity to or research and stuff. So that's really cool that they got to do that.
Yeah, it was a certain percentage of how much they sold, wasn't it, or something like that, that they were going to donate.
Yes.
I forget what the percentage was, but that's awesome. And like I really hope, because we do know that unfortunately there is a big issue with people who exclusively own Xboxes. Not always, supporting, like some of the games that come to it, like as much as Sony is known for the support that they get for their titles that come to their system.
Yes.
But I'm hoping, that this is kind of proving that we might, that might change, and I hope it does. And I'm kind of, with this all happening, it makes me really curious to see what's going to happen when their next game comes out, because they still got that one game that's coming out yet that will be for all systems, and I'm curious to see how well it's going to sell on the Xbox. So
yeah, we shall see. So, well, that's it for our Arsenal news. We're going to get to our Arsenal exchange. And then we're going to let you guys enjoy your weekend, and, get us to some good gaming and stuff. So this is the question for Arsenal Exchange. And I wrote this because I wanted to pick, Jesse and Corey's spot, and we'll probably come back to Corey next week, and to get his thoughts. But, with Crackdown 3 once again having some development difficulty, having a questionable holiday release, teaming up with Nintendo for something interesting, and feeling very positive from E3's outcome, is it time for people to invest in Xbox? If not, should Nintendo get that investment while Sony figures out what to do before a PlayStation experience? So, did you think it's a great time for people to get involved, invest in the Xbox or Xbox One or Windows 10 or Xbox One X or Slim, as the brand? They got some highs, they got some lows. We talked about Game Pass and stuff. Did you think it's a good time, definitely after seeing what's coming in 2019 at E3 for Xbox, is it time to invest in Xbox?
I'd have to say that the numbers are showing right now that it's definitely something that is happening, and there are a lot of people that are finally starting to invest in the Xbox, and we obviously, like we've seen and we kind of heard from this E3, Xbox One, they've got some new games and stuff that are coming out. We don't really know that there's going to be, a whole bunch more for this system yet. I mean, we still got some time to really see what's going to happen. But I think the thing is, though, right now, Xbox, just undeniably, they have so many good things that are pro-consumer right now that they've kind of, had started, for a while here now, but a lot of them are finally starting to pick up, like the Game Pass and stuff like that. It's definitely got some really good games on the Game Pass to play that if you haven't played them before, or whatever, or feel like me, and I just, I've had to kind of for the last year or two be careful, what I buy, and I have to kind of be picky and choosy. And now it gives me that option, to play games that I maybe haven't gotten to play in the past. That it's nice for that. And just the games the new games that are coming out are going to all be added to that, day one, and you don't have to spend any money at all, and you can still play the new games the second that they come out. So if you're a budget gamer, right now, that we were talking about on POW Block and stuff, there's no, you can get the 1S for dirt cheap now practically, and you spend maybe only $50 more, and you can get a big bundle that comes with a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, it's a good system, and they're finally getting things kind of figured out, and kind of getting their bearings back. And I mean, soon we're going to probably, unfortunately, move away from the Xbox One slowly, but there's a lot to offer right now, and they still do have new games coming out, and you have games like State of Decay 2 and Sea of Thieves that is slowly more and more content's being added to that. And, we've got amazing third-party games that are going to be coming out that are going to play better on the Xbox One X. And it's beginning to kind of get the credit it deserves. I've played on it, since it released. But
do you feel that Xbox, if you do invest in it now, put a Game Pass onto the side, do you think it's good now if you invest in Xbox to go create a big backlog of games, because there are a lot of titles that's not on PS4 that is worth whether you get it used or new, that or on digitally on sale, and do the Play Anywhere initiative. Do you think it's great for people to go back and pick up some missed content? All the patches and stuff and updates are already there, and if you want the best, you could go and get an Xbox One X, and it will run the games like at better than PlayStation 4, like at its best. Because I think, for me, definitely, I invested in the Xbox a little bit early, before they announced the Slim and everything, because when I looked at the PS4, I thought it was cool. I didn't get into the hype or of anything. And people who bought the PS4, they were happy to have it, but they weren't buying the games. And when it came to Xbox One, I know that, if I pick this up, I get to play Rise of the Tomb Raider first. Oh, they showed me Ori the Blind Forest. I started being able to collect a next gen library on Xbox. Something I've never done since. I didn't buy a 360, but I invested into the Xbox when it was like $200, and I would never buy any new game for Xbox. I was buying used. Majority of my games that I have for Xbox, some are used, but most of them are brand new. Same kind of with my Nintendo Switch. I don't buy with my Nintendo products, I don't buy nothing used unless it's third party. Anything that's Nintendo related first party, I buy brand new. So I think, with Xbox One, if you invest in it, you're going to get great games next year. But they have a huge library of indie and AAA first party games, or AA first party. We mentioned State of Decay 2 leading in May. We just mentioned that Hellblade just hit 1 million. So those are two games that you can actually look forward to for $80.
Yeah. Well, and it's like, my issue where I have trouble when people kind of get negative about Xbox and Microsoft and stuff. The thing is it doesn't help to judge things from the past. I feel like Xbox, Microsoft, they've made so many positive changes now.
Yes.
And they're trying to do good, to the developers and things like that. There's a story, there's something that Phil Spencer had retweeted or something that I seen. I didn't really get a chance to read it, but it was something. It seemed like it was something to do with them trying to make it easier for developers and things like that to do stuff for them. But that's a whole other thing. But I think the thing is that when we're in the past, 360, a lot of people had 360s, and either a lot of the people that are only play PS4 exclusively and haven't had an Xbox One, a lot of those people did have a 360. So I feel like at this point, anyone who's wanting to invest into Xbox now later is probably one of those people that did have a 360. And the nice thing is, when you do get that Xbox One, chances are a lot of those games that you owned for 360 might be backwards compatible. So, that's another kind of thing that's kind of welcoming to someone who wants to invest now, is chances are that you might even get some of those games with up-resed, a better
frame rate and
frame rate and stuff
detail.
Like that. So they're really trying to do good on the people who want to invest in them right now. And so I think right now is a perfect time to join in, because like I said, you can get a 1S for not that much right now. And it mind you, that has a Blu-ray, a 4K Blu-ray player in it. And, you, like, at this point, like, if you go and you just buy a 4K Blu-ray player by itself, it's still, I think, pretty expensive, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I mean, just that alone, I mean, if you want to get a 4K, Blu-ray player, but you want it to be able to have more function than just that and feel like it's worth the money, then you definitely, it makes, getting an Xbox One S worth the investment as well, there alone.
Well,
so
let's tackle the second question, then we're gonna head on out. If not, should Nintendo get that investment while Sony figures out what to do before a PlayStation experience? So let's say if you're not getting into getting an Xbox and you don't play PC, should you get a Nintendo Switch or even a 2DS? And I say yes, invest in the Nintendo system. Why Sony figures, at this point in time, why Sony figures out what they're trying to do. Because, of course, they have a problem with crossplay and everything, and yeah, you got God of War and stuff, and you got some AAA games that Xbox don't have, but it seems that Switch is hitting a lot of people's love for gaming on the go and offer them different experiences that neither Xbox nor PlayStation is offering them. And definitely with what's the functionality of Switch is that you see more people carrying it around and playing with other friends and hooking it up on their dock and playing it on their TV. So you're seeing more stuff in that, and not so much with Sony. It's kind of weird. After the PS4 was released, people was just like, well, what do I do now? Because I played the games that I wanted to play, and the highest game that was played on the system was free, Resogun.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, that's the thing is like, yeah, if you don't feel like the Xbox is still not enough for you to invest in, but you've got, maybe friends who do have an Xbox and they want to play Fortnite or whatever, and you'd like to be able to play with them, but you don't really feel like you can justify getting an Xbox because, for whatever reason, then yeah, it's, definitely worth getting a Switch then, because of that crossplay, you can have that option to be able to play with your friends who have an Xbox without actually having one. So yeah, I mean, it's, like, that's always a good option. And really, I mean, like, people want to complain about and get upset at people poking fun at, at them having crossplay and Sony not having it. But in reality, that's not going to change unless people say stuff about it and make a big deal about it. And that's what you're having. You just have people who are doing stuff to get a reaction.
Yes.
And that, that stuff, though it may seem negative, it's for a positive reason. They're trying to, people want Sony, people who own Sony, the PlayStation, to be able to play with people who have Xbox or people who have Switch. Like, we just want, people to be able to play the way they want to play and not have to, jump through hoops to be able to play with their friends that may not have the same system they do.
Sony has a lot of stuff to figure out. They got to get this. They got to get this epic kind of situation fixed. They got to allow people to change their name on their gamer tag and stuff. People have been crying about that. They got great first party and they got some great third party exclusives, but they need to get. They used to be, really good at showing off indie games for their systems, and it's not there. Why have a flash sale for a lot of their games when they don't promote any of their indies? At least Nintendo promotes them, and people are looking forward to that stuff. But like Sony right now is kind of in a weird spot where, and I was thinking about this, when Microsoft made they blunder to give Sony this push for PS4, it looks like it's coming to bite PlayStation in the butt now. Like, if they keep up their shenanigans, this is going to push people to buy a Nintendo Switch and the Xbox One. Because, you know, they offer crossplay. They're offering, I don't know if you can change your name and all of that stuff, but they're offering.
No, you can't.
Not yet. Okay. But they're offering, it feels like they're offering more things on those two systems than Sony is. I think if you were really able to change your name tag, and just saying, if they was able to allow you to change your name tag on Xbox One, that's a huge jump over PlayStation 4. And everybody's gonna be like, well, Microsoft is doing it. Why can't you guys let us do it? You know, they're having games and good sales and stuff, but you guys are not pushing anything over here for indies. Like, I've mentioned Iconoclast. I keep mentioning that game because it got missed from a lot of Sony fan base, and I think once it touches to the Switch, it's going to pick up, and hopefully it does pick it to Xbox later on down the line. So, you know, it looks like the mistakes that Sony are starting to make, all of that is going to bite them in the butt to make people want to invest in Xbox, whether you're a fan or not. You know, I was just thinking about that. I was just like, Karma loves to have fun when it can.
Well, you know, this is the thing. Like, okay, like Microsoft right now is making moves to try to be more pro-consumer. And, you know, like they realize that games with the service is like the best way that they can give us what we want, but also in return they can get what they want. Like, right, they want people playing their games, and the best way to do that is give people that option of like Games Pass where people can play the games, and if they don't like it, well, they don't like it. But you know what? If people are playing it, the more people that play a game, the more people are going to talk about it,
right?
And the more the more it's going to spread. Like they're giving us something, but they're getting something back in return. And Microsoft wasn't so great at giving us exactly what we wanted with the 360, and they were kind of in the same situation that Sony's in right now. And the thing with Sony is they were that company with the PS3 that's kind of like where Microsoft is trying to go to right now. They were trying to be pro-consumer, and they were trying to do stuff to get people interested in the PlayStation. But their problem is once they had that interest, then they shut down again. And like, I was mad that Microsoft turned down crossplay when Sony had originally said that they wanted to do it.
Yes.
And that that sucked, and it makes me upset that could have happened so much sooner if Microsoft or Xbox was what Xbox is now then. And so that's the thing, is like, that's what upsets me, is Sony used to be better about things. Like you said, they used to promote things better. They used to be more pro-consumer, and they changed that. And like, now what's happening now is what's most important.
Yeah.
So they need to go back to that. Go back to being about games, and they'll still have people that are going to support them. But if they make those jumps to try to be more inclusive, that's only going to better them. So, like, I guess I just don't understand where that disconnect is with them. Like, why they're fighting so hard to go against like everything that's trying to happen between Xbox and Nintendo, with trying to be trying to be supportive of gaming in general.
So no one hasn't argued this yet or brought this up yet, talking about unifying systems. You know, how now if there's all crossplay and stuff, now is this going to lead into a one system future? And I'm like, no, crossplay is just to allow people to play the same game on different devices, which presents different skills. That's all it's doing. And it's weird that people haven't realized that, yes, Microsoft didn't do it because, you know, Phil Spencer wasn't there when Xbox 360 was doing it. He wasn't head of Microsoft until Xbox One, and when they made that switch. And when he made that switch, you got someone who really wasn't a gamer, who was heading up that division, compared to Phil Spencer being a gamer and being someone also a business mind. Like, now he's coming to the table, ready to do work. Just like when Nintendo didn't work with Sony on the PlayStation, Iwata wasn't there, Reggie wasn't there, that was Yamauchi. Like, he was head of the CEO of Nintendo, and he made that decision. So it a lot of people don't realize that when you have different heads of companies at a time doing business and stuff, when you switch them and they now are coming out to say, hey, we want to work with y'all, it changes everything. You know, I think if Phil Spencer was part of Microsoft 360 and they brought up crossplay and Sony came to them, I think they would have worked together. And I think when Nintendo finally got to the point where technical wise that they were able to do the same thing, I think all three of them around this time would have had crossplay if they had games to do that. That would have happened, but because none of those players were in place when all of that stuff happened, of course you're gonna be like, well, of course 360 didn't work with Sony because they was in a whole different direction under a whole different leadership. And just with Sony now, they was under a whole different leadership and direction when PS3 came out. Just saying, as Nintendo, when Yamauchi stepped down and Iwata took over, that changed the perspective. And Iwata, he knew that the other companies were competitors, but he had to take Nintendo in a whole different direction. And he spoke at GDC talking about all these companies and stuff and bringing out the positivity about games and stuff for all three companies. If Iwata was still alive today, I think he would still he probably would have embraced crossplay on Wii U if third parties supported that system. And I think all three of those systems, that crossplay and stuff, could have carried over to now. So whether you did invest in the Xbox One and the Nintendo Switch and the PlayStation 4, crossplay would have become a well-known feature. Heck, I think Iwata probably would have even joined, like, doing streaming on Switch. Like, I think there would have been a lot of stuff, but because that didn't happen, we understand. But I agree with you. Now it's a good time to get an Xbox One. If you feel like you don't need an Xbox One, look into a Nintendo Switch or look into Windows 10. If you still do Steam, that's fine. If you're interested in getting a PS4, do that too. Yeah, for sure. Because, you know, PS4, definitely, you can't deny they have a lot of great games to play. Yeah. So, just let them get their stuff together at this time.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, people just gotta just remember that, you know, that's the one thing that I just, you know, feel like needs to get across to people more is that do not dwell in the past. Like, this is a different Microsoft. It's, you know, they're changing things. It's a different Nintendo. They're changing things. They're trying to, you know, move towards, you know, the future of gaming. And, you know, and it's taken, you know, Sony a little time, but I guarantee you it will happen eventually. It's inevitable, but it's just a shame that it's not happening sooner is all, you know. So, for now, people playing on Xbox and Nintendo can play together, and and hopefully we'll be able to play some games with people who are playing on PS4 soon. So
yeah. So everybody, that's going to be the show. We want to know what you guys think. Should you invest in the Xbox at this time? A Nintendo Switch or PS4? What you guys think? You can email the show at arsenalxpodcast@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at arsenalxpodcast. Check out our Facebook page at arsenalxpodcast. Check out our shows, Squad Goals, Royale with Cheese, and other things that we do on Nerds Gone Rogue. You can find me on Twitter at ThatButcherCode, and you can check out my podcast, Optional Opinion, on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, and TuneIn. Jesse, where can we find you at?
You can find me on Twitter at @sub_humanist.
Yes. And everybody, please check out our movie commentary. We have covered the first 3 Ninja Turtle movies, so you can watch the first Turtle, Secret of the Ooze, and kind of listen to our Teenage Mutant 3 discussion, because we had, well, it has its problems, but we kind of had a movie in pod, like we was podcasting, but not about the movie that we was watching. We was talking about things from time to time, but and also, everybody, congratulations to our good friend Matthew Keo. He has gotten engaged. He's one of the hosts of Nerds Gone Rogue, and congratulations to them on 100 episodes. Corey, Moose, and Matt, they all came together to make a great show. So celebrating their 100th episode. So congratulations to them. Check out some of the trailers, some of their bloopers, and that I'm so happy that they're at that number. We as Power Block and Nerds Gone Platinum and Arsenal X, we can't wait till we get further along to that. Well, Nintendo Power Block has this 100 episode, but hopefully Arsenal X will get there, and Nerds Gone Platinum will get there. And World War 1 also, everybody is 100 episodes, so you guys can check that out also. But with that, everybody, we're going to throw the X one last time. Ching. And we are out. Bye, everybody.
Bye.